Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Real Chat Podcast with your boy, Justin Jackson. I got my big homie, Big Bear, again, all the way from New York. Man, I love talking to this man. I'm telling y'all. What's happening with you, Bear? How you doing?
Man, listen, I'm feeling good. First off, I want to say it's a blessing to be here again, and I'm watching the journey. And yo, you getting smooth with that technology stuff. Look at this, and
Hey,
they people looking at dudes from the street and thinking we ain't technology savvy. You're doing your thing. You're doing your thing.
good looking, brother. Good looking, man. I love it. I love it. So last time we talked, man, we had a lot to talk about. Like we talk all the time. But
Yes.
last time we talked on a Real Chat Podcast, brother, we were talking about your nonprofit that you were getting off the ground. We were talking about a bunch of things you had put into motion, and that's only. I mean, people, let me tell you, that was only weeks ago. You know what I mean? I'm telling you how fast this brother moves, and it was a long process to get going. But once he had the details, it was over. It was over, man. Tell us a little bit about that.
Done. Um, we are now a 501c3 registered with the IRS, the Shaheem Baluta Barber 363 Foundation, along with my brother, James Hall Jr., King Jeru, who've been by my side, along with my wife, Michelle Alexander, from day one. And I saw the video, you posted the other video, and I was like, wow, I can't believe I said, we got the paperwork and process, gave everything to the lawyer. Now we just waiting. And it was like, even the lawyer said, yo, I don't know what's going on with the IRS, but things are moving quick. And we put that paperwork in October. We got our stuff back from the IRS, I want to say December 2nd, and we
Yeah.
good to go. From that point on, I was able to register with Zephy, which is a non-for-profit platform that helps nonprofits raise money, and you get 100% of all of the donations. Not like some of the other
Nice.
platforms. I won't say their names. Like
Right.
some
They
other
want their
platform.
money. They want to take
Okay.
some of that
Yeah.
money.
So because we're in a capitalistic society, so everybody wants to get a piece, which I fully understand. And you, as an individual, have to decide, well, which way do I want to go? And you got to put the work in, because I could have
Yep.
just easily stayed with one of them platforms, like, yeah, you know what, boom, and now I'm giving them a piece versus
Hmm.
doing the work. It's been a lot of headaches. It's been a lot of times I'm researching and reading, and I got a headache after I'm done. I'm like, oh man, but you gotta put that work in. And
Right.
just like yourself, okay, I've watched your journey from the beginning, how you started. And, people only see the end result. They don't see the process of how you get in there. And
Right.
if people don't want to see, they're looking at your past, figuring, oh, they don't want to acknowledge the growth. And they're looking at what they saw you as before, and like, well, dad, how did he do this? Okay, it was
Hmm.
always in you. It was just we was on the wrong path. Okay,
Right.
we used what we knew, the knowledge we had, for wrong things. And
Correct.
now we're using that knowledge we have for positive things, and it's flourishing. Shaheem would have been 34 years old this past Wednesday, January 22nd. And every single year we're going to be doing the popcorn fundraiser. Um, and today is the last day of the popcorn fundraiser. Everything is going good. I'm blessed that a lot of people. So, well, I want to make sure you get all. So now the popcorn is good. Get the
Right. Right.
popcorn, and then you got the Zeffy, to where if you want to give us a straight donation, you can do that also. Um, and I want to make sure and let people know. I just did Uber. I just did an Uber, and
Okay.
I have a sign on the back that has follow Big Bears Everywhere, and the person asked me what it was, and I told them what I'm doing, and it was like, oh my goodness, I would like to donate. I'm like, okay, cool, great. And then afterwards, I let them know, look, you're going to get a receipt that you can deduct from your taxes. And
Mhm.
it's like 90% of everybody says, oh, that's okay. I wanted to help. It's not okay because our government allows you to take donations and deduct them from your taxes.
Right.
This is one of the things we don't do, that a lot of people don't do. I'm not even going to say people of color. That's people in general. Because you
Right.
figure, oh, it's only $5 here, $10 there. Okay. Think about all of the times you at the store and you put some change in the cup for the St. Church Jude, or for this or for
Right.
that,
For a cause.
for a cause. Now, if you go and you add all of that up, you may have not even realized it, giving out $200 for the year in donation.
Right.
Okay. And then you may be like, what's $200? $200. That's what $200
Yep.
is.
$200 is $200. It doesn't
It's
change.
200. So in other words, you making that much money to where you can throw $200 away in the garbage and not worry
Right.
about it. Okay. You can take that $200, deduct it from your taxes as a donation.
Hmm.
Okay. I got a story. I was working at this job, and my boss, who very wealthy, and it was the early 2000s, before the internet really popped off like crazy, and the video
Hmm.
games and all of that stuff. He had over 300 coin operated video games in Brooklyn, Queens, and Manhattan.
Hmm.
And plus he was doing the blow up stuff, pool tables. I mean, very lucrative business. We went
Right.
to go pick up the money out of one of the stores. We had to get almost $400 or $500 in coins and dollar bills. As we walk out, there's a penny on the ground. He bent down and picked that penny up. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, Mark, what are you doing? He's like, what? I'm like, what are you picking a penny up? I'm sitting here with the bags of money. He's like, we get in the car, we start driving, and he's like, Jay, let me tell you something. If you pick up 5 pennies, how much is that? And I said, a nickel. He goes, you pick up 5 more, how much is that? I said, another nickel. He goes, add that together. That's 10 cents. I said, okay. And he goes, now you keep doing that, you keep doing that. I'm like, man, it's gonna take you forever to get any money. We get back to the office. He takes me in the room, opens up a closet. You know the Poland Spring bottle that you
Yep.
get with the water?
Yep.
He
Yep.
had about 5 of them jugs filled
Filled
with
up.
coins. He said, you're a strong dude. See if you can pick one of these jugs up. I had to pick, tried
Right.
to pick couldn't even pick it up.
Got to put it on a
Okay,
dolly to take it up out of there.
exactly. He says, go home, see you later. A couple of weeks later, we all go out to dinner. After the dinner, the check comes, pays the check. He leans over to me. He says, Jay, you know how I paid that check? I said, yeah, with a credit card. He said, nah, I didn't use a credit card. He said, I used a credit card, but the money on the credit card was from all of them jugs you saw in the closet.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. And then I said, well, how long? And then he cut me off. He goes, it doesn't matter how long it took me to save it. The point is, I did it.
Right. I got it.
The lesson I learned from that is stay in the moment. We think so much about the future and how long it's going to take that we don't even start because we
Right.
think it's going to take so long. But then once you start and you take that first step, it gets easier and easier and easier.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And I'm like, wow. And I've done it. You ever see this stuff at the beginning of the year where you have the savings thing? If you save week 1, you save this, and week 2, you save that, and you
Yeah.
keep on. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I've made it. I've made it maybe
Hey,
8 or
what did
9 weeks.
so Heather B and Tracy G, and I was just talking about this the other day, about
Okay.
January 14th being National Quit Day, because
Okay.
that's usually around the time that people quit on all their New Year's resolutions.
Hmm.
It's usually around the 14th of January, all of that starts to wear thin. All the
Yeah.
all the saving you were gonna do and all the all the exercising you were about to get into.
Mm-hmm.
So they called it National Quit Day, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, I never heard it that way, but it makes
Mm-hmm.
sense, you know. And
Yep.
now that I
Yep.
think about it, it is. It's about 2 weeks into the new year, and all those habits that you wanted to pick up, and all the money you wanted to save, and everything that kind of starts going out the window,
Size. Yep. And
you
it's
know.
and it's and it's pretty much like I learned with with losing a loved one. Um, my son committed suicide on 4/15/22. So
Okay.
during that process, on getting everything together to get the arrangements made, you got everybody calling, they're well wishing, love, flowers, everything.
Right.
After the service is over, I think studies say within like 90 days or whatever, it's like people start to say, okay, cool, they expect, or some people expect that you're just going to be like, okay, everything is going to go back to normal,
Hmm.
but it never goes back to normal.
Right.
It's how you deal and how you process, and everybody deals with it differently. And
Hmm.
I I um I don't want to say, I don't, make sure I use the right words here. It's like who, not who's there in your corner, but who can understand and say, okay, I understand that, okay, this is what this person is going through. And I may not get it fully, but it's like, I don't ever want you or anybody watching this to try to imagine what it's like to have to bury
Right.
your child. What I would love to be able to do for people is cut their head, open it up, look at their brain, and put a big bucket of compassion, to
Hmm.
have compassion for your fellow man, and to know that everybody is on a journey,
Right.
and you are going to cross paths with people, and what happened to you today and what happened to them today or yesterday, and if the two things collide, it can be an explosion. But we can also
Right.
make it the other way.
Well,
somebody
and I
can
think
be
that
somebody can
that
be ready to
that's big.
fight, be ready to fight. But if you're coming in like, nah, we ain't gonna fight.
Hmm.
What's going on? And I've noticed that, to diffuse a situation and say, hey, what's good? What's going on? And that was the main thing that I struggled with that first year after losing my son, was that I let my ego as a parent say, hey, when he was going through his mental breakdown and he was lashing out at everyone, knowing that that wasn't his character, I was just like, I had people telling me, well, that's not how he. I said, well, look, I raised this boy, and he ain't gonna talk to me like that. To say,
Right.
you know what? It's not about me. Let me step out of me. Let me stop making it me and be like, oh, wait a minute. This
What's
is
going
not,
on?
what's going on. Okay, even with your friends,
Yeah.
hey, hold on. I know that ain't Justin. Nah, what's going on, Just? Nah, what's going on? I'm here. I'm here to listen. I
Well,
may
that's how
not
a
be
lot of
able
a
to
lot of
fix it.
friendships are lost. That's how you lose a lot of friendships,
Yep.
because a lot of us, as like you said before, I know this dude. He ain't gonna talk to me that way,
Exactly.
and you're really not taking a moment to step back and
Mm-hmm.
view the situation from the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm.
Not as it was directed towards me. They're talking right at me, but hey,
Mm-hmm.
something's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me step back for a minute and analyze. And I think the
Yep.
word you were looking for just a second ago was having empathy.
Yes.
Having empathy for somebody, because
Mm-hmm.
empathy and sympathy are two totally different things. When somebody wants to tell you, "Oh, hey man, I feel bad for you," or I don't want you to feel bad for me. I want
Mm-hmm.
you to sit here and listen to what it is I have to say and understand that,
Mm-hmm.
hey, when you tell somebody that and you have empathy for them, you could sit back and look at the situation and say, hey man, I can't understand what you're going through, but I'm here. I'm
Yep.
here. I ain't going
Yep.
nowhere.
Yep.
Give them that space. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Yep. And with the foundation, we're going to be doing men's mental health awareness. And also on January 22nd, we did our first men's mental health awareness meeting